The golden dragon, in its benevolence, absorbed the evil runes while busy. Unexpectedly, the next second it began to cough violently. Soon after, its whole body convulsed with bulging veins, and its indestructible scales started to rapidly rot. In just a short span of 2.5 seconds, the golden dragon collapsed with a resounding thud, harboring resentment in the northwest. A terrifying creature emerged from its body. This gigantic being with 5 dragon heads is the legendary Queen of Dragons, Tiamat. Initially, it was just an evil rune that possessed the boy Soren, causing him to have hallucinations and a desire for slaughter every day. But Soren, although an ordinary human, relied on his strong willpower to suppress it for years. After learning about this, the cult of the dragon captured Soren and intended to send him to Tiamat's temple as a sacrifice in an attempt to resurrect the queen. Unbeknownst to them, a righteous team had been secretly following. They launched a night raid when the cult let their guard down and eventually risked their lives to rescue Soren. However, their whereabouts had already been fully observed by the high priest of the cult of the dragon. When Soren regained consciousness again, everyone had already fled thousands of miles away. The paladin Mora advocated taking Soren to the Golden Dragon Temple to break the curse of the runes on him, but the wizard Tari opposed this idea. A bad feeling made him uneasy. However, just as everyone was holding their own opinions, Soren suddenly lost control beside them. Seeing Soren commit evil deeds further confirmed Tari's suspicions. As he prepared to act, he was forcibly stopped by the injured Mora. Others only saw Soren's apparent evil, but only he could feel the struggle within Soren's heart and the unparalleled speed displayed when drawing his blade. With a whistle warning from the half-orc druid, the cult of the dragon was closing in. The group could only pack up and run again. Not long after, they arrived at the entrance of the Golden Dragon Temple. There, a giant knelt with his head bowed in submission, his massive sword forming the only passage. When the group reached the door, the druid waved his staff to create a wind wall, temporarily blocking the followers' pursuit. Tari quickly cast a spell to open the door, but just as the door opened a crack, the high priest had already arrived in front of them. Immediately, countless spears shot down rapidly. Mora, seeing this, hurriedly blocked them with her shield. But Tari, focused on opening the door, was unprepared. Fortunately, Soren promptly tackled him, using his body to block the fatal spears. The gate also froze rapidly under the attack of the spears. Seeing Soren sacrifice himself, Tari instantly put aside his previous grudge and acknowledged him. He let Mora take Soren into the temple first, while he chose to stay behind to hold off the enemy. After Soren and the others entered the temple, a huge creature slowly awakened. He was the great golden dragon Orl. Upon learning that Soren was cursed, Orl lowered his proud dragon head and moved closer to Soren. Feeling the curse force on Soren, he confidently believed he could suppress it. Subsequently, he began the transfer ritual. Little did he know, this action instead accelerated Tiamat's resurrection. At this time, the followers of the cult of the dragon outside the door were about to break through the defenses and charged towards the temple. Tari wanted to cast flames to block them, but they were instantly extinguished by the descending high priest. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't reassemble the flames. The dwarf monk Zhuang could only rush into the enemy crowd, engaging in physical combat to block the enemy army. Seeing Tari's life hanging by a thread, just as he anxiously wanted to return to rescue him, a giant bat suddenly appeared, blocking his way. But he underestimated the monk's strength. With just one move, he was instantly knocked flying into the abyss. Meanwhile, as the high priest was about to strike, he was directly turned into a snail by the druid, unable to harm anyone anymore. Tari also reassembled the flames again, burning all the pursuing members of the cult of the dragon. At this time, the ritual inside the temple was coming to an end. When Tari and the others rushed over, the evil runes on the boy had disappeared, all absorbed by the golden dragon. But just as everyone was rejoicing, the dragon suddenly began to cough violently. A repulsive sound echoed continuously within its body. Not long after, it collapsed with a resounding thud, harboring resentment in the northwest. Tiamat also broke through its body and was reborn at this moment. It turned out that the mighty dragon was the nirvana vessel she had always desired.